All right, Purim Sameach, everybody. Purim Sameach. Let's go back to a Sikha that we started. I saw there's a beautiful footnote over here, and we can look at this footnote. If you remember, we learned the Sikha about Purim, that it says, Yehudim ora v'simcha v'sasan v'yakor. Remember, right in the end of the Megillah, it says, Yehudim ora v'simcha v'sasan v'yakor. There's even songs written about La Yehudim, La Yehudim, Yatzora, V'simcha, V'sasan v'yakor. And there's also La Yehudim. Anyway, there's other songs that are written with these words. La Yehudim ora v'simcha v'sasan v'yakor. That's what it says in the end of the Megillah. So to the Jews, there was light, simcha, joy, sason, happiness, v'yakar, and glory. So the Rebbe says, if you go to the Gemara, you see what these terms are metaphor for, what they're they're hinting at. It says Ora, that's talking about the Torah, and the Rebbe explains that's the oral Torah, the Talmud, the Mishnah. Or V'simcha, that's Yom Tov. V'sason, that's circumcision. And Yakar, those are tefillin. And the Rebbe explained, if you remember, I'm just going over what the Sikha said. The Rebbe said, that these are the four things that the Jews were really specially happy about, and that Haman really wanted to negate. Haman wanted to destroy these four things especially. So they said, why? What's so special about these four things? There's the Torah, and there's the holidays, and there's the circumcision, and there is tefillin. So the Rebbe said it's such a big deal, these four things. I mean, non-Jews also have similar things to this. First of all, anybody that wants to can read the Torah. So the Torah is open for everyone. So it's not just for the Jews. Right? So that's the aura part of it. So the Rebbe said, no, this is referring to the oral Torah. The oral Torah, that's only for the Jews. Only for the Jews. Why? Because there's arguments in the oral Torah between Abai and Rabbah and all these different rabbis, and any normal person will look at it and say, these rabbis are just arguing. They don't even know themselves. A Jew looks at it and he says, no, these men are holy. Every word that they say is directly from God. And with the end and goal, with the conclusions that they come to are pure godliness. This is the way God wanted it. Makes no sense whatsoever. But we're going to do physically what they decide. In other words, what's in intellect, logical, I can understand it. It's not mine. It's purely God. That's what the Torah is. That's what the Talmud is. And Simcha, what about Yom Tov? Is Yom Tov, everybody makes Yom Tov for themselves. Jews, their Yom Tov is totally devoted to the Creator. Totally devoted to the Creator of the universe. Simcha, Sason, what Sason? Sason is the circumcision. Other people make circumcision. Everybody in America, people are circumcised for health purposes. But the Jewish people, they make the circumcision as a sign that they're devoted to God. Other people make a circumcision, and it's not a bad thing. It's like the least of all evils. At least the lesser of two evils. On one hand, it lessens a person's pleasure. That's what it says in the world. Makes it a little bit. On the other hand, it's healthy, so they take the healthy part of it. The Jews, they don't care about anything, whether it lessens, it's healthy, it's not healthy. If God says to do it, then they do it. And it's tremendous joy. It's a joy to be able to do what God wants, even to suffer. The last one is, God forbid, a person should not suffer, but even to do that, that's what the circumcision is about. And the last one is, Yakar, those are tefillin. The non-Jews also have a sign, but this is the sign of the Jews, that the physical body of a Jew, the physical low things we do, we take an animal and we put it on it. This is not just a sign of our religion. It is a sign of our essence, of God himself. The Creator himself wants us to do physical, meaningless things in this world, and that makes them tremendously meaningful, which comes to show the whole world will be meaningful. Okay, so these four things, in other words, come to show, let's go. Vigas at free, like we said, and this is the main thing of Purim, to show that the body, the purpose, what's the purpose of the Jews? The purpose of the Jews is to show that God is one. God is one means that God is not just in the spiritual realms, that God is also creating everything in the physical world. The physical world is tremendously important to God, every detail. And that's what the Jews are here for. So that's what we said. Like we said before, is Zaina de Firzach, these four things, Torah, Yom Tov, Mila, circumcision, and Tefillin, these are the four signs which divide the Jewish people, signify the Jewish people and divide them from all of the other human beings in the world. And therefore, Haman HaRasha was so against this. They're against the Jewish body being holy, because showing the Jewish body is holy shows that there, first of all, there can be holiness in this world, and that everything in this world has a totally different significance than what everybody else thinks. Everybody else thinks that the world is just a selfish place. It has no, and Judaism says, no, everything in the world potentially is holy and meaningful and precious, especially human beings. As Hat Haman nita zoi fil geort. It didn't really bother Haman so much that a Jew can be spiritual, can be holy when he does his spiritual things. Is godly when the Jew is praying, so other people have their prayers. When the Jewish people are doing their spiritual holidays, you do your holidays, learning his spiritual Bible, no problem. But B'shas Abras come to Gashmis, when it comes into the physical world, the Eber, these previous four things, as Zocht, Belchazayin, and Shayach, Tzunguf, these things which are relevant to the body, physical, Unazelchen, such things, which Haman had claimed as Zunder sich nit up, that they shouldn't be any different. They gleich zum Goy, that he wanted that the Jewish people should be just the same thing as the non-Jews from their Gezerah. That's what he wanted. He wanted to destroy these things so the Jews wouldn't be different from anybody else. That's what Haman wanted. Right, that's what Haman wanted. Haman said, you want to do your spiritual things, do them, but don't try to claim that God is the king of the whole world, of everything. He creates everything, and that everything potentially is holy. You want to make a circumcision, do it for health purposes. You want to make a holiday, do it to make your own happiness. You want to learn your Bible, do your Bible for religious purposes. Right? And you want to put on tefillin, maybe we also have our signs, do it. But don't do it to show that there's a creator of the universe that creates everything and that the whole world is good above and beyond any comprehension. Vile, because from the decree what Haman had made, that he wanted to destroy these things, that he wanted the Jews to be the same thing as everybody else, as Darfan is Oiskekom, and came out the decrees which Haman made, and these in Judaism, which are externally different from non-Jews, until it came to the decree of Lahashmid Larog Labed, and finally he said, okay, I want to get rid of the Jews, everything they do. Finally, I want to get rid of the Jewish bodies. First of all, he wanted to start with these four things, and then because, like we said before, the essential being of a Jew is holiness. The body of a Jew. The Jews are a holy people. Und der Reber, and therefore, B'shas men will upteilen him from Kedusha when he wants to separate a Jew from his essential holiness. And we're not talking about just the Jews that do the Torah and the commandments. Every Jew, even if he doesn't know that he's Jewish, his essence is that he's holy. And what does he mean holy? That he expresses that there's a creator in the world. Chach man is maskim as in geveses zamanim, that in certain things, gevesin yanim zal yaz and helik, in that there's certain times that a Jew can be holy, as nemt men from im zu sein ganze mahus. Because you tell the Jew, I want you to be normal, right? Haman said, Jews can be normal, they can be regular, normal people, then that's not so bad. You can have your holy times. As soon as you do that, then you take away from a Jew his essential being. That's what Haman. Okay, paradoxically, what gave Haman the power? When the Jews decided themselves they wanted to be like the non-Jews. The Jews went to the meal of Achashverosh. They all ate it. But the Jews themselves decided, and the fact is that you can decide whatever you want to, but it's not so. A Jew can't go against his essence. But like somebody said that if a person decides he wants a human being, he decides a normal person, he decides that he's a dog, right? And he's a dog, and he wants to go and eat like dogs and run around the streets with no clothes and things like that. So they put him in a mental institution, but they put him in a mental institution for people, not for dogs. In other words, he can't change his essential being. A Jew is essentially holy, not just spiritually, also physically, his whole being. His whole being. This, by the way, is the big problem with Zionism. Zionism was a movement that tried to redefine a Jew, that a Jew is not holy. The land of Israel is not holy. Nothing is holy. The Torah is not holy, and the commandments are holy. That was done before. But they tried to come and say, no, even the Jewish people and even the land of Israel, physically, not holy. These people, though, they're Jews. And because they're Jews, they're denying their own real essence. And the whole thing of Purim is to wake up everybody's essence to who they really are. That's because holiness is the essence of a Jew. The Reber, therefore, I want to read this note here. The Reber, therefore, B'shasman is pater gaven from Haman, and as soon as Haman, the Haman was killed, and all of his terrible decrees, Basman Metakan given the Yom Tov, there was a Yom Tov of Purim, which Purim is a day which in physical we make a big meal. We eat, we drink until the basumi, a person even has to get drunk until he doesn't know. And the Sas Maisa is lo yada, it means that by him, the Jews are, it's obvious to a Jew, even though he's drunk and he doesn't know the difference between good and bad or anything, but the essence of his soul says that Haman is bad and Mordechai is good. All the things which are bad, cursed by a person, is abgefragt, when the inyanim from Tov and the things of good, anything which is bad is abgefragt, means it's how do you say, it's out of the question, we're not going to do it. And Mordechai is Zayin Bayim Baruch, and the good things are automatically good. In other words, by a Jew, even if he doesn't want to be religious, doesn't know nothing about putting on tefillin for sure. I know a lot of Jews like that. They don't want to be religious. No way. They can't stand religious. They don't want putting on tefillin. Of course they put on tefillin. What about eating kosher? Of course, just because I'm not religious doesn't mean I have to eat not kosher food. Of course, there's even Jews that they keep Shabbos. They keep and all the commandments, but they don't want to be religious. I'm not going to be religious. They're going to want to go to synagogue and all these things. Shabbos, of course I keep Shabbos. What are you talking about? I think I am. But in other words, it's just obvious to the essence of the Jewish soul that Torah and tefillin, they're not thinking about going to heaven or nothing. It's holy. They don't understand it. Because as I'm forbund with neighbors, the connection with the Jews, with God, is not an additional thing to him. Rather, this is his whole being. And there's even the physical world. Therefore, even those Jews that they dress differently and they look differently and it's okay. But the thing is that the goal is to take this and put it into every detail of the world, not to be afraid of the world. We're supposed to be the conquerors and make the world into a holy, blessed, meaningful place, and not that the world makes us afraid. Therefore, they're here, nidnor mitzad yedia, and seichel nor afilu b'shas is lo yada. Even when a person doesn't know, even when a Jew does not know logically the difference between good and bad, and Haman and Russian and Jew and a non-Jew, nevertheless, in the essence of his soul, he knows and he feels that there's a difference because of his essence. He knows essentially that Aura, Haman, and Mordechai. Now let's go back to this footnote. Very interesting footnote. Listen to this. It says, here he says the Jew is different from a non-Jew, and Haman wanted the Jews to be exactly the same as the non-Jews. Why did Haman oppose this fact that the Jews are holy? Why did he oppose it? In the physical world, that they're holy in the physical things. Physical, that's the whole point of this. Or of a simcha, of a sasam, these four things are physical expressions, physical things that are very similar to what the non-Jews do, but the Jews do them in a totally different way. Learning Torah, there's the oral Torah. The holidays of the Jews, the circumcision and the tefillin, these are things that have their counterparts in non-Jews. Right, and non-Jews, but the Jews do it totally differently. And this is what Amalek was against. He said, because Klipat Amalek, this force of Amalek, this anti-Jewish force in the world, is krirut, is coldness of intellect. Umenagid la'avoda the kabbalat ol shalamayla mitam v'dat. This is, let's forget about what there's there a nation, what he did. Let's look at inside of ourselves. Inside of every single Jew is an Amalek. Inside of every single Jew is a little spiritual Hitler. It's every Jew, right? Except for big tzaddikim, except for the Rebbe. In the end, it's only Moses is the one that destroys Amalek. That's the job of Mashiach. Except for Mashiach, the only one, no one can destroy Amalek. It's always there in every single Jew, right? Even the biggest tzaddikim and the Mashiach is something different. That's the Lubavitcher Rebbe, something totally different. It's a different story totally than all the big tzaddikim and etc. That's why, like when Korach came along, everybody was against Moses. Even the biggest, tzaddik, holiest people were against Moses. Okay, now we're not talking about opposite. We're talking about what is this ultimate arch, essential enemy of the Jewish people is Amalek. It's a force inside of us, and it's an urge inside of us that what? Not to do things which are illogical. To do things which have some benefit to us. That's Amalek. To be cold to godliness. To be cold to God. If it can benefit me, okay, then I'm your friend. If not, not. Right, look above in Parshas Zachor, it says, a seichel im yotzehu atzmo mavriach machriach. If intellect tells a person that there should be things which are above understanding, therefore, a religious Jew, right? Let's say I'm a religious Jew. So I do things, what do? Things that my intellect tell me, this is going to be somehow or other benefit me. It's conducive to me. It's going to improve my religious life, my religious, and also things which are above understanding. I understand that sometimes I have to do things which are not understandable, right? I have to make a blessing every time before I eat an apple, and it's forbidden for me to eat, milk and meat together. Why is milk and meat together forbidden? God says that's it. Don't ask questions. I understand there's things that are above understanding. But it says that spirituality should be only in spiritual things, my soul. Inyanim ruchanim. This is a spiritual thing. It's in the Bible. Don't eat milk and meat. So I don't eat milk and meat. But it shouldn't express itself in my body. What does it mean? Intellect is an individual, specific power and sense that a person has. You have a sense of smell. You have a sense of blood. You have a sense of feeling. And you have intellect. Intellect is right, maybe not one of the senses, but it's an ability in a person. The intellect, people have the ability, emotions, intellect. So there's one thing is emotions, love, fear, and there's intellect is another part. But intellect, as great as it is, it's not the person himself. This was a big thing of the philosophers and Mendelssohn and all these other people, Spinoza. They all wanted to say the essence of man is intellect. Well, so therefore, kasher kedusha, holiness, the idea of holiness is only in intellect, is einenu mitpashetet b'kol inyan yadam. But If you can prove that God exists, and because you believe in God because of all the proofs that there are, that God exists, no, okay, that's good. I mean, you believe in God, but that's really not Judaism. That's really not Judaism. Judaism, of course, uses the intellect, but the God that the Jewish people believe in cannot be perceived by intellect. Can't be perceived by intellect. Intellect can be a tool to get in that direction. But the essence of Judaism is what they call Kabbalat Ol, accepting the yoke of God, doing in this physical world what God wants me to, even if it doesn't make any sense, even if I'm going to lose everything. That was the whole story of Purim. Even to the physical things which were, even to physical things which are above understanding, right? Above, which are below understanding. There are things which are below understanding, things that just are not understandable, right? You just why do you do that? That's what it says in the Torah. You're supposed to put on your left shoe, you're supposed to put on your right shoe before your left shoe and tie the left and the left shoe before. Why are you supposed to? That's what it says in the Shulchan Aruch. That's what you're supposed to do. It's a custom. Right? Why do you do it? Why does a Jew put on tefillin? He has to put it on his left arm. He has to put it on it has to be has to be above the hairline, has to be above that. Well, what's the reason for it? What does make? That's what it says. That's what I do. That's what I do. Even things that are the whole service of a Jew is that in all of your ways you should know God, because a Jewish people in his essence, he is holy. Even the things which are above understanding, even the things which are below understanding. That's why, okay, so that's number one. Haman finally, in the end, he wanted to destroy the Jewish bodies. He wanted to kill all the Jews. Now explain why he wanted to kill all the Jews. It doesn't even say any sort of a reason. He just couldn't stand to see them. Couldn't stand the Jews. He wanted to kill, one is going to kill Mordechai alone, but he decided not to because he wanted to get rid of all the Jews. Why? The Jews did something bad to him in his youth, something like that. No reason. Right? Why was there anti-Semitism? Doesn't make any sense. Right? You read the stories about people, anti-Semitism, very interesting thing. Anti-Semitism, right? It makes absolutely no sense. It's totally illogical, and people love it. People love it. It's one of the best ways to convince people, and it creeps in everywhere, right? Hitler, when he stood up, the whole nation was just, they loved him. But there was the same thing not so long before that with Martin Luther. He stood up and said, the Jews are liars. They don't want to accept my religion. The Jews are cheaters. They're liars. Stalin was no better, right? Hated the Jew, hated them, couldn't stand them, right? It didn't say it exactly in the same way as the others did, but what's the reason why? So it says the reason why is very simple. The reason why is very simple. Because people want to be God. They want to decide their own lives. They want to do what they want to, especially every moment of your life. Every moment of your life belongs to me. What do you do? Come along the Jews and say, no, every moment, every second is being created by God. You can make every second meaningful. How? Sometimes it means by not doing what you want. No way, I don't want to do it. You do what you want. I'll do what I want. That's the way it is in the Israeli government, right? Religious people, okay, you want to be religious, be religious. Just don't mess with me. Don't mess with. And the religious people say 100%, 100%. We won't mess with you. You just provide for our yeshivas and provide for our religious needs, and we'll let you do whatever you want to. Right? Neither one of them is proper, because the essence of a Jew is supposed to be in his physical, everything that he does is his physical life, and that's supposed to have an effect on the entire physical world, Jews, non-Jews, the rocks, plants, animals, everything. That's what it's supposed to be, that everything you feel. So, and that began, right, when God, especially when God gave the Torah, Abraham realized it. And that's why Abraham was also hated by everybody. When God gave the Torah, it says it brought Sinai to the world. That's why it's called Har Sinai. Sinai means hatred. Because it comes to limit the world, that people can't do what they want. And when people want to do something, then that's, it's impossible to stop them. A person really wants, right, to do something. Even though that the Rebbe said that if the 7 Noahide commandments would have been taught before World War II, it could have been that the whole World War II could have been avoided. That people would have heard the Hitler stand up and speak, and they'd say, not for me, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go. I mean, you have to realize that Hitler didn't just kill Jews. Hitler killed like 50 million people, just strangers, because they were strangers, right? And Stalin killed about the same number just because they didn't agree with him, or he thought they weren't going to agree with him, or whatever he thought. There was no value for life. The whole, so life, what is really the value of life? Because God is creating it. It's this putting what's above intellect into intellect. That's the whole idea, to put it into physical world. So the physical body of a Jew is different than everybody else's because the whole world is different from what everybody thinks. Also the same thing. That's why the reason that Haman threw the lots. Why? Because the lots are a thing which is totally above understanding. Machshavas Haman Hoya, that he wanted to say that how are the Jewish people different from everybody else? Is rak mitzad enyani hashtalshlus, spiritual things. The Jews, you want to be spiritual, be spiritual. Kochat giluyim, revealed powers, intellect, emotions, if you want, even spirituality. Of a low yitron but not anything that's above spiritual. That was the miracle of Purim. Gilui ayitron the Israel gam bebechinas agorol shalamayla mishtalshlus. Haman threw lots. Lots are things which are not spiritual and they're not physical. It's throwing yourself above, totally above intellect. Makes no sense. Such a big thing. Haman wanted to do such a big thing. He's flipping a coin to decide which way to do it. He said, because Haman wanted to show that if the Jews are different from everybody else, so let them be different only in spiritual things. But things that are physical, no way. And things that are above spiritual, also no way. So he thought by throwing the lots in this, he would have the advantage over the Jews. The Jews are a spiritual people, right? God gave them the Bible, etc., like that, right? So they're a spiritual people. So maybe according to spiritual things, they're better. But two things got on his nerves. Number one, don't try to bring their spirituality into the physical, actual world and say that everything is holy. Number one, Jews first are holy, and then eventually the whole world is holy. Number one, don't do that. And number two, I have a trick that's going to get the Jews. I am above spiritual. He threw the lots. He thought in this way he would be able to defeat the Jews. Shalochi, and therefore the holiday is called Purim. The whole holiday is called because of this evil instrument that Haman used, Pur, to go above understanding. He thought above spiritual. He thought that by means of this, he would be able, in that area, he was superior to the Jews. This is expressed in the difference between the Jews, and this also comes down into physical things. Because where's what this idea that the physical world is also holy, this is above spiritual. Spiritual is supposed to be spiritual. To say that above spiritual can come down to the physical world, that's the thing which is totally crazy. And that's what Haman was appealing to by throwing the lots. He thought that he could get to this level that was totally crazy, above even the spiritual, and that there he would be superior to the Jews. Well, it ended up that this level, which is above understanding, and that also comes down below understanding into the physical world, Kanishka, like we said, that only in the physical, like it says in the Tanya, only in the physical body, the Jews were chosen by God. It says only in their physical body are the Jews, do they reflect this fact that they're the chosen people. And being chosen by God, this is totally above spiritual. So that's the two areas that Haman wanted to defeat the Jews in the physical world, that the Jews were, in fact, different than everybody else physically, and also above the spiritual, where the Jewish people there, Haman thought that Jews have no say up there. It's open territory. But he was surprised. The fact of the matter is that where is the essence of God really revealed? In the Jewish body. And that comes from a level which is also above the spiritual. So in both areas, Haman lost out. But unfortunately, Jews don't realize this. And when they do, that's a tremendous happiness. That's our identity. That the Jews, on one hand, the physical, the lowest things are holy and totally different from how a non-Jew does it. And on the other hand, the Jew comes from an area, the essence of a Jew is higher than any possible logic, intellect, above the spiritual even. And that's the job of the Jews, is to bring these two things together in the whole world. That the whole world will be above understanding. It'll reveal the essence of God in the world and everything that we do. So that's really the essence of what Haman wanted. Haman could not stand that the Jews were different physically, and he knew it, but he couldn't stand it. He wanted to wipe them out, and he mistakenly thought that also the Jews had no say in things which were above spiritual. That was up to him, totally up to him. I don't know if this is really relevant, but there was a very famous composer, Wagner, and he wrote even a little treatise. I didn't see it, a little booklet explaining how the Jews are limited people. They can never really get inspiration. They can never have inspiration. They can only copy other people. Right? They can never have true inspiration. They can't get anything that's above intellect. Right? The Jews have their Bible, it's all intellect, but above intellect, they can't get inspiration. So it's basically saying the same thing over here. Right? Haman, what bothered Haman was that the Jews were different physically. The Jews were holy. And also, in the essence, also, that he thought that the Jews above intellect, above spiritual, they were the same as everybody else also. And that's why he wanted to destroy them. And that's when he did not. So it showed what the real essence of a Jew is, but it didn't last that long. It didn't last that long. The miracle of Purim was really great, but we see that the second temple was right before the second temple. The second temple, in fact, was destroyed, and we're still in exile for 2,000 years. But Bez Hashem, that's it. This year is the last year. This is the last Purim that we are in exile. God will make amazing miracles like it was when we left Egypt, and the whole world will become a beautiful garden and wedding canopy for the creator of the universe. Happy Purim. Shalom Uvracha. We'll see you on Sunday, 8:15. Purim Sameach.